Whoo-wee, what's going on YouTube? It's Donnie B all day. So today, got a little mini story to tell you. Little something for one of the brothers of the Blade here. And before we get into it, heartfelt condolences out to our brother of the Blade, Mr. Carl Ruger, whose father had passed. Carl, man, we freaking love you, man. Just stay a rock. Obviously, you got us, man. We're all in your corner. So anytime, anywhere, say the word. I'll always respond because shit, man, you would do it for all of us. You're that kind of dude. So, damn, Carl. So, got to get into this. So, a lot of you guys know some of what I did back in the day. I was 17 years. I played pro football for the minors and tight end, punter, kicker, placeholder, special teams. I even played some D-end and offensive tackle. I was all over the place in the football field. I loved it. I played volleyball, and I was a fighter back in the day. I mean, I had a pretty good run of things for a while. And so the reason I'm telling you that is because when you do that kind of thing, especially through my football years, I ended up signing a lot of autographs. And one of the coolest moments, it's hard to say coolest. It's kind of a weird word for this. But one of the most surreal moments in my life came when there was a kid. His name was James. And I think he was like special learning. I'm not 100% sure. But James had gotten this, I don't know if it was a cancer or something to that nature, where he was in the hospital and it was to the point where you might not make it type thing. And they had like, I guess it was like a Make-A-Wish or something. And they said, hey, is there anything you would like or anybody you'd like to meet? Maybe we could reach out. And I get a phone call from my coach for football. And James used to come to all the games, our home games, and he would be working the line. We'd have him holding the down markers. So he loved it. He was around us a lot, and I kind of took him under my wing, and I was always really cool with the kid. So I get a call from my coach, and he was kind of confused. He's like, yo, B. And I'm like, what's up? And he tells me about this James who's in the hospital and how they said if you have one wish, like a dying wish type thing, what would it be? He told me that his wish would be for me, of all people on the planet, for me to go visit him in the hospital. He already knew me. It's not like he's been meeting me for the first time. The kid knew me, and so I thought that was kind of crazy and surreal that I was the guy. You know what I mean? It was like, you might die. Who's the last person you want to visit you that's not your mother? You know what I mean? And so for him to call me out like that was crazy special, man. So of course I didn't go. No, I went. Of course I went. So I went to the hospital, hung out, and good news happened. Within a few days, he was released. I'm blaming that on D-bad luck. So he was released from the hospital, and he's still alive. The last time I saw him, a few years ago, he was a security guard and doing well, and I was really proud of him. So that's really, really cool. So it's just a little something I wanted to tell you. Let's see. I was at a hockey game at one time. It was an AHL game, Springfield Indians. Or no, they changed over to Springfield Falcons. They changed the name. So I was at an AHL game, and I'm sitting there with some people, and this little girl, probably 8-ish. I suck with ages. I have no idea, but little. She was a little tiny one. She comes over wearing this big white T-shirt with signatures all over it. And she looks at me and she says, "Are you the football guy?" And I'm looking at her like, how the hell do you know? So I had, I don't know you. So I'm like, yeah. And so I guess her dad saw me play. And he's like, oh, hey, look at that guy. So she comes over and she says, well, my shirt is just for the hockey players, but would you sign it? And I was like, oh my God, that was heart melting when this little girl did that. So of course I signed the back of her shoulder. And that was one. Those are just two of the really cool moments from me being a football player and this and that and doing different things. So Fast forward a bunch of years, our army's done. I get back from Afghanistan, life changes. You know what I mean? And now I'm doing other things. So I start this whole knife thing, and I start with these knife designs, right? And my knife designs are now selling on every continent, I think, except Antarctica. I don't think there's anybody there to buy them. So my designs have become very popular, and I have become an official knife designer. And I didn't realize how much so until I got a message from no names, but a big box. It begins with a B. A big box knife designer, and he just messages me and he says, "Hey, how does it feel to be a celebrity now in the knife world?" And I said, "Well, since I don't know what you're talking about, I don't know." So he was at a convention and he was sitting with a bunch of well-known, very, very well-known, some of the top knife designers, and one of the guys there happened to mention me by name. He's like, "Hey man, what do you guys think about this Donnie B All Day character?" And so he was telling me that, the guys knew who I was, and they were like, "Oh yeah, he's doing this thing with Nepal, blah 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 blah," and they seen my designs and this and that, and this was after I did the John Jay tribute, and so it kind of blew up, right? And so he was telling me, he says, "Yeah," he goes, it's pretty wild. He goes, "Just so you know," he says, "the other knife designers in the world, they know you by name." And I was like, wow, that's pretty actually awesome. So he told me then, and I didn't really pay any heed to it, but he's like, "Get ready, you're gonna end up signing a lot of sheets and things like that, because a known knife designer," he goes, "a lot of people want their stuff signed, because once I die, those knives are gonna live forever and they'll be worth more money," I guess. So so that was all cool. So I get a message yesterday or this morning from one of the brothers of the blade here. It's always on the channel. You guys, other knife guys, you're going to know him. James Blaylock. Awesome dude, man. Awesome dude. And he asks me for something that he thought was kind of a weird question, but it's really not. But he said, "Hey, man, would you be able to sign me something, sign me a picture, and send me something that I'm not going to be able to send to everybody because then I won't have one left." But he said, "And would you send me a piece of the legendary stump?" So we're going to go outside and we're going to take a knife. I'll probably use a D-bad knife. And we're going to take a little piece of the stump, just a nice little sliver, something fat that he could put boop with a picture in a frame or something, and do that. So I went today and I decided to do that, and you could see what it says right there. Well, maybe you can't because it's a dark background, but it says "James Never Stop Knifing," and it just says D-bad with my signature. And obviously you can see D-bad Campmaster, D-bad Preacher, D-bad OEF Defender, the D-bad John Jay tribute, and all of these were available when I was approached by the other guy who said, "Hey, they all know you by name." And I think this one and this one really, really caught some people's attention and got me talked about. So I think that's really freaking cool. And what's really cool is that James would ask. And so, of course, I'm like, well, hell yeah, I'll do anything. So I'm going to go out. We're going to chisel off a piece of something, a piece of my stump, the famous stump. And it's a little wet right now. We got some rain today, but I'm going to let it dry. And then I'm going to mail it out to him. Mail it out to you, James. So that's it for that. Let's pick something. I have a whole bunch of D-bad knives right here. Let's pick something that, is wieldable for that kind of thing, and go out and use it. What did I grab here? All right, so this is what I have. We're probably going to need something smaller. Hold on, let me get one. So they always say there's always a right tool for their job, right? Well, I don't think the mission 4 was going to be the right job. That's way too big. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the war machine. We're going to go make a little war on that post, take off a piece, and we will be mailing that out. So let's go do that. All right, so here we are at the stump, right? The infamous stump. It's literally this piece of tree, cut down tree, has literally been viewed all around the world a bunch of times. I'm actually throwing one of these too, James. That is part of the Preacher Broke It in Half knife. It's one of the leather stacks, one of the stacked leather pieces. I'm going to throw that in there. All right, so now I have to figure out how I can do this and make it good. So let's get rid of this. I'm going to grab one of these, and I will try to do a downward on a knot. I don't know if I can. I think I can. Okay, that's going to break apart like crazy. So this is trial and error. We've never had to do this before. All right, so let's get a little bit of Susan in your life. All right, there we go. I think that might have done it. We're going to find out. We're going to find out together. All right, so I think we just got a really nice piece of the infamous stump. And that's the stuff. A lot of knife tips went through this one. And you know for a fact, a 100% fact, that the last knife tip to go through this piece of wood ever will be the D-Bad War Machine. All right, so James Blaylock, what I'm going to do is I'll sign the wood, or I'll just put a little D-Bad on it. And you'll have that. So you're going to get a little D-Bad collection of goodies. And I'm getting sprinkled on now because it just hasn't stopped. And that's it for that. So we got more knives coming, more stuff, more good stuff. I'll be talking to y'all soon. I am Donnie B all day. Till next video.